and welcome to my channel, Maine's Mind. So today we're going to talk about clean eating. I was recently diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called Sjogrens. Now, I had never heard of that. When I went to the doctor, I knew something was wrong because my hair had started to thin out and it's gotten like really dry where it breaks real easy, not just from dying, but also I started getting like this rash on my hands. And it was going down my arms. That has since cleared up, thankfully. I was just feeling really, really tired, like extremely fatigued. And then my hip was hurting. Now, I've always had like problems with my knees. And then I would get like the occasional, I would joke and tell my dad, God, I'm getting arthritis, Dad, because my elbow would be hurting really bad. And then there was a couple of weeks there that I had a really hard time. I couldn't even close my hand all the way. I couldn't grip anything because it hurt so bad just to close my hand. And then for like the last couple of months, it's been my right hip that's just been excruciating, like where I was limping or I couldn't even sleep at night sometimes because it hurt so bad, and it didn't matter which position I laid in, it just hurt. So I started thinking that, there's something wrong, and started doing research, and I started thinking maybe that I had lupus just because I do have an aunt that's got lupus. And so I was thinking, it does run in the family. My skin's really sensitive to the sun. I can't be in the sun for very long because I break out in hives like everywhere, this rash everywhere. So I started thinking it was that. And when I went, they gave me that diagnosis. Well, for me, I went into full-on panic mode because I'm like suspecting you have something wrong and then confirming you have something wrong is a whole nother ballgame. So I went into panic mode, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they basically set the timer on my life. I'm dying. And so I started looking up things I could do, that would help it, slow it down, stop it. And one of the things that came up a lot was whole food plant-based diet. Now, I have tried to do whole food plant-based diet. I've tried vegan, I've tried vegetarian, multiple times in the past, just for health reasons, just to try to lose weight and be healthy and eat cleaner. And I always failed. About 2 weeks in, I always failed. And this time was no exception. But I did find a couple of books that I found helpful. And this is a book review, kind of. So the first one that I ran into, and the one that came highly recommended, was by Dr. Brooke Goldner. And she's a woman who had lupus and was dying. I mean, she had strokes and everything else because of it. And she basically cured herself, to where she hasn't had any major episodes just by eating a whole food plant-based diet, all clean eating. And so she has this book, and I didn't read the first one, which was Goodbye Lupus. I read the second one, which was Goodbye AutoImmune. From what I understand, the Goodbye Lupus one covers all of her experience with it and how to follow the diet. The Goodbye AutoImmune focused more on like your motivation for following this type of lifestyle. In Goodbye AutoImmune, she talks about, she does kind of give an overview of what was in her other book, but she talks more about her program that she does. And I believe it was a 6-week program that she does with her clients to help them adjust to this type of lifestyle. And she does more than just diet therapy. It's not like, you need to eat this and this and this. I mean, it is that, but it's also coming to terms with your illness. It's coming to terms with who you are and dealing with the emotional part of it. She talks a lot about emotional healing, people who self-sabotage. The one thing I got a lot from her book was that this is an all or nothing kind of diet. People who didn't follow the diet exactly had slower results in recovery. People who followed it to the T had better results. I mean, and that's great. If you're one of those people that have that kind of motivation and have that kind of commitment, then that's wonderful. Go for it, all in. Me, I grew up in a very, I guess you could say, not healthy eating diet type of family. Ours was food on the fly. I grew up in a household with 2 working parents, so our food was always on the go. Before you go to work, before you come home, let's go eat lunch real quick, let's go. I gotta go to work, here's this, time for bed, time to get up and do it again. So our food wasn't like the healthiest food. It wasn't terrible, but it was like homemade cheeseburgers or meatloaf or enchiladas or, things like that, things that require cheese and, fried foods and stuff like that. I mean, we ate good, but that's just it. We ate good. And so to make this adjustment, it's been difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult for me to go beyond the 2 weeks because 2 weeks is about what I can handle. And then I get tired because I don't know what to cook. I run out of ideas of what to cook. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, you need to meal prep. But I'm a working mom too, and I know that's an excuse. It's an excuse. It's not a good excuse because there are plenty of working moms out there that do this all the time. But that is my crutch. I come home from work, I'm tired, and the kids are hungry. And it's like, sometimes I'm good and I'm like, okay, we're going to cook. Like tonight, I'm doing good. I got myself my vegan diet. It does have tofu, which is kind of like a no-no, but, it's a vegan diet. It's not the whole food plant-based diet, but it is a vegan diet. And so I'm giving myself bonus points for that. But I have the chicken cooking on the side for the kids. I won't eat the chicken. I'm good with that. So today's a win, but some days I'm so tired and, with the Sjogrens, fatigue goes with that. So sometimes I am more than tired. Somebody described it as bone crushing tired. So there are some days I come home and I am bone crushing tired. Like I am exhausted. It is hard to keep my eyes open. On those days, it is easier just to say, hey kids, let's go get burgers and fries, or let's just go get a pizza and you guys can do that tonight. So I fell because sometimes I'm like, I'm so hungry. I go to sleep without eating. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I don't care today. Let me eat this. And so Dr. Goldner's book is good in terms of motivation, helping you address your own issues. And she takes you through case studies where she talks about, what these patients had to go through, what her clients had to go through to be able to meet their goals, basically. So it's a really good book. It's a good starting point if you really want to know how this diet works and how it can influence your life and the positive impact that it can have. I did feel overwhelmed by it though, because it was very all or in. What's wrong with you? Why don't you want to succeed? And it's like, no, I do want to succeed, but I can't succeed at that level. I'm not saying that it could never happen, but for me, it is not going to be overnight. I am just not one of those people that have that type of motivation. And I'm not the only one in my house eating this way. And wait, before I get then they just don't love you, or, oh, you should just find a new husband, or, oh, you should just make them, or just make them cook for themselves. I'm not that kind of mom either. And I'm not that kind of woman. I'm not going to turn around and tell my husband, oh, I'm eating this way, so now you, this grown man, have to eat the same way I do. I'm not going to do that to him. And I'm not going to do that. If you love me, you will eat this way, because that's just manipulation. I see that as wrong. He's a grown man and he will gladly cook for himself if he wants to, but I feel wrong doing that to him too. And my children are older, with the exception of one, and he's good. He'll eat whatever I eat if he likes it. But the older ones, they're older already. I'm not going to turn around and be like, hey, I know we ate this our entire life, but now you have to eat this way. I'm not going to do that to them either. I feel like this kind of diet needs to be a choice, and it's not something I'm going to force them to do. Now, I will say if I cook something and they think it looks good, they'll eat it with me, and that's a healthier diet for them. So they are getting that incorporated into their diet. But I can't do that all the time, and sometimes that's hard for them too. So the next book that I found really encouraging. This book is called Real Food Revamp by LaTisha Morris. Now, the book by LaTisha Morris was very good. I think I found that book the most encouraging. It took me a little while to read it. It is not written in a typical font. It's written in Old English. So, you kind of got to get used to that. But once you get past that, the information in it is very rich. It's very loaded with her personal story. She gives you a lot of encouragement. I like that she supports her information with facts and also refers to other resources. So, if you want to check out something else or investigate something further, she gives you that information. And the thing I liked most about this book was that it's in a conversational tone. It's like this right here, me talking to you. And it's, so it's not very formal or anything like that. It's very informal, like, hey, yo, yeah. So I really liked that about it. And I really liked that it wasn't pressure. It wasn't like, this is do or die. If you don't do this, you're going to die. You need to get control of your life. it wasn't like that. I love that. It didn't make me feel overwhelmed in any way. It felt like, hey, you know what? It's okay if you fell, but I would rather you get up the next day and keep going. And I just thought that was just beautiful, because it wasn't like, hey, you fell, that's it, bad, shame, it didn't make me feel that way. It made me feel very, yes, we all fall down, but you just get up and you keep going, and every day that you do it is progress. If you can only supplement one meal, then that's progress. And I really like that, because that encouraging tone is what I needed, and because, like I said, I would do so good for 2 weeks, and then I'd be like, I'd fall off the wagon and be like, oh, that's it, I quit, I suck at this, and I'm never going to be able to do a vegan diet. I'm never going to be able to do vegetarian. I just can't give it up. And that's how I would feel. And it was very frustrating, because I'm trying. But, and I would go buy all this food so that I could try. And through my frustration, I would just throw it all to the side. And reading her book was kind of like, well, okay, so yes, I ate a cheeseburger today with my kids after work, but tomorrow I'm going to do better. And so in the morning, I would wake up in the morning and I would have oatmeal instead of my fried eggs and toast or migas. I'd have oatmeal with just a little bit of agave syrup, my almond milk, and, frozen fruits, just to kind of give it that little crunchy sweetness. And that was great. I was like, yay, good for me. I'd have a lunch for salad, a salad for lunch. I'd have a salad for lunch or something like that. And I'd be like, good, I did good. So it's all about, those little successes, and like I said, some days I do really good. And if I can find enough recipes and get myself some momentum, I'll do good for a few weeks, and then I might have a bad day. But at least now, after reading her book, I don't feel like I had a bad day, I need to quit. That's it, I'm just never going to succeed. I feel like, okay, I had a bad day, but I can do better tomorrow. And I really, really love that about her book. It's really encouraging. So I am not an affiliate with LaTisha Morris Real Food Revamp in any way, form, or fashion. I will attach her link below. If you're interested in it, please go check it out. I think the book is $25, but it is worth every dime. It is. It's so worth it. So I would recommend that one. And then I do have the links. This one, I'm an Amazon affiliate, so I will attach the affiliate link below for the Dr. Goldner books. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. If you all have any questions or comments, please comment below. I'd love to have a conversation with you all. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell for more great content, okay? All right, see you all next time, and good luck.